Do you have an event coming up and you need an eye-catching graphic or flyer to send out to your email list or post on social media? Hey, it's Auret here from Essetinomedia, and on this channel we show you how to create profitable content. In today's video, I'll show you how to create a flyer just like the one that you see here. This is one that I recently designed for one of our clients. She was hosting a lunch and learn and needed a graphic to send out to her email list. And the cool thing is you don't need complex design software to create something that looks really pro like this. You just need PowerPoint. So let's get right into it. So this is the flyer opened up in PowerPoint, and what I'll show you to do is first we need to create this canvas and then add in these big blocks of shapes that you can see here. And this way we're creating the foundation to then go and put in images and text on top of it. So I've opened up a blank PowerPoint file here, which it's going to by default put it in the slide format. So we need to change it to the page format. And to do that, you just need to go to Design, the Design tab here, and where it says Slide Size up to the top right corner here, click on Custom Slide Size. And in this little box that comes up, you want to hit the drop down arrow right here and select letter paper. Now you can put it in whatever format you like, but to have that page format, the standard page size, click on letter paper and then portrait and then hit OK. And it doesn't matter which one you choose here. Let's just choose that one. Okay, so we have it in the upright format here. Now, first thing we want to do is put a big block. It could be a gradient, it could be a solid color. Let's click on Insert and then Shape. So this is just the square shape right here. If it's not in your recently used shapes, then it would be under rectangles. So when you click on that, oops, let's do that again. All right, it's gonna have a little cross arrow for you, and click it down and drag. So hold down the click and then drag the size of the paper, and it's gonna give you that color block. So what you would then do from here is change the color of this. In the original sample, we had a gradient going. So if you just wanted to do a solid color, all you need to do is click on Shape Format and then Shape Fill. And you can select from any of these colors, or you could go more fill colors and just play around with whatever you like here. Or if you want to do the gradient effect, go to Shape Fill and go to Gradient. And then you're going to click on More Gradients and select Gradient Fill. And from here is where you can start to play around with your colors. Now you can see here it's already by default, because I created this previously, it brings in a gradient that I've already used. But you can change these, you see these little earmarks here, you can change these colors to whatever you like. So let's say you wanted a blue there and you want it to go to dark blue. It's totally up to you, and you can play with this. You can play with the direction, which direction the gradient is going in, but I'll stick with what we have right here. And the next thing you want to do is let's bring in some of those bigger shapes. So this little pill shape here, the black piece, the white piece, and also the logo. So let's do those things. So first thing is bringing in the logo. I'm going to go to Insert, Pictures, this device, and then I'm going to find my logo on my desktop computer. Once you found it, just double click on it and it's going to bring it in. I'm just going to click on the arrows, or the corners rather, to resize it. Click and drag, and I think about there is nice. And you'll notice sometimes it will have those kind of lines to show you where center is, but if you're not seeing that, all you need to do is just click on Align and Align Center, and it'll automatically put that in the middle for you. I'm also using the keys on my keyboard to just slightly move it up. And then, oh, I just noticed there's like a border around this background. So I'm going to click on the shape and remove the border. Shape Format, Shape Outline, no outline. We don't want an outline on there. Next, we'll go to Insert, Shapes, and then I'll choose this rounded corners rectangle that you see here. And then I'm gonna click and drag about there. Now I want to make this even more rounded. So you see this little, the yellow thing here? I'm just clicking and dragging that inward so it makes it like a pill shape. And then I want it all black. So I'm gonna click here to make that all black. Again, put it in the center. And then the other piece that we want to do is this, essentially this, it's a circle, but it's very flattened. And the reason why I chose that is because it has these sort of rounded edges that I liked. All that is going to insert, shapes, a circle, and then you're clicking and dragging, making it quite big. I think it was about there. All right, and we want it to be all white. So I'm gonna go to shape fill, the outline, no outline, and I want it to go behind this black piece here. I'm gonna click on this black piece, right click, and select bring to front. So that's gonna layer this on top. And then the other big shape that we need to bring in are these two pieces. So this rectangle right here, as well as this arrow. And you can feel free to customize this however you like. Again, it's just a bunch of shapes and text and images put together. You can create some really cool images, cool graphics in PowerPoint. So I'm going back to shapes. I'm going back to this rectangle here, or it's right over here as well. And then clicking and dragging. It was all black, but it had a thick white border around it. I'm gonna select on shape outline, white, and then to make it a thick border, we're going to increase the weight here to about 6. And then the arrow piece, insert shape once again, go to the block arrows piece, this arrow pentagon right here, and we're going to click and drag, and I'm going to put that right there. We're going to make it white, so I'm going to click here. No outline, and that looks good to me. All right, so now we have the basics down. It doesn't look like very much, but once we start to add our text and images, it's gonna look really good. So from here, what I do is go to insert and then text box, and then start to add each text. So in this little piece here, I'm gonna click and drag, and this is usually where the title goes. Now you can see here, you can't really see anything because the text is black. So I'm going to highlight this, select white from this drop down menu, and it'll make it white for me. So here's essentially the title of your flyer. You can customize this however you like in terms of font choice and in terms of the font size as well. You can choose from here. You know, I like to have that title fairly big and then center it as well. So I'm going to click on that. You can see on the original, I actually played with 2 different fonts. So this is the Roboto black font, and this one right here is the Caveat font. Next, we're going to have a subheading and then some text below that. Let's go back to insert, text box. I'm going to click and drag here. We're going to go subtitle of flyer / name of your event. Goes right there. It is also centered, and I like to make it bold as well. So I'm going to highlight this and choose, let's go for Lato black. All right. And so for the body text here, this is a description of your event. Include a few sentences about what people can expect to get out of your event. What's the benefit of it? What's the benefit of them attending? So I'm going to go to insert text box. Again, select, click and drag here, and then choose a simple font like a Calibri or Open Sans is one I like to use. And this is going to be a description of your event, include benefits and what attendees can expect. All right, so this is typically a smaller size than the headings. So I'm gonna go here. I think about there is good. And it also depends as well how much text you have. If it's a short little description, you can get away with making it a little bit bigger so it fills up that space quite nicely. So let's just pretend that I have multiple lines here. All right, and you notice that there's a lot of extra space below. So you can click on this shape and click and drag this upwards to reduce that space right there. Next, we're going to bring in our photos. So I'm going to click on Insert Pictures and this device. And you can choose from an image that you have on your laptop. A portrait image works best on this flyer, meaning it's a vertical image rather than horizontal. I actually got that image on the original flyer from Adobe Stock, but you can grab free images from sites like pixabay.com or pexels.com. So I'm just going to choose an image from here. Sometimes you can actually choose a landscape image, but then crop it so that it becomes vertical. Like if you have something like this, I'll actually show you. So I'm going to double click on this and then click on crop. And then we can click and drag the sides to make it more of a vertical photo. And then you're going to hit the crop button again at the top right corner. All right, so we have a nice vertical shot that we could put here. And there's a few adjustments that we need to make, because you can see that if I'm putting this behind the circle, her head is going to get cut off, which we don't want. So in this case, you might need to move everything up a little bit. And to move everything up at once, you can also click and drag, select all of those little segments, like the text and the shapes that we have here, and then click and drag that upwards. All right, so that allows for more room. And then we might need to click and adjust this sizing a little bit. So now what I want to do is put it behind these two elements. So I'm going to select the image, go to picture format, and then hit send backwards. And I'm going to keep clicking it, there we go, until it's behind those two shapes. Now you can leave it in color, but if you're finding that the color is kind of clashing with the colors that you have in your flyer, then you can do some color correction. And if you notice in the original flyer here, I wanted it to just be kind of, it's not fully black and white, but it's quite desaturated. There's a tiny bit of color in there, almost neutrals. So we can do the same thing here. I'm going to select the image, go to picture format, go to color, and then you can desaturate it. You can see these are separate levels of desaturation. So something like this might work, or even if you want it fully black and white, you can see the image changing on the right hand side there. I like just a tad of color. I think that works nicely, but I want to brighten the image a little bit more. So I'm going to click here and then go to corrections and then choose the next one over, so that brightens it a little bit more. You can also adjust the contrast by going up or down. You can see it's adjusting the contrast. So, but I like this right here, so I'm going to click on that. And next we just need to input the text over here. So you can see on the original flyer, I made the when, where, cost very big, and the smaller pieces of text fairly small and in white. I used black and white. So we can do the same thing here. You're going to go insert, text box, click and drag. I'm going to go when, and then we're going to make this quite big. So I'm using these buttons. This is a quick way to make the font size bigger or smaller. So if you see here, I click on that, it makes it smaller. I click on this, it makes it bigger. And again, I'm going to change it to Lato black. Let's make that a little bit smaller like that. And then again, insert a new text box for the subtext. So I might just put in the date here and then the time. You might want to put an end time as well. We're going to select that, choose white, make it very small, and then move it upwards. So you want to customize it to a point where you're happy with it. And now that you have those two elements, you can just duplicate them. So we're going to select this, click and drag. I'm going to right click, hit copy, right click again, hit paste, and then move that into place until you can see there's again those lines are guiding me to make sure that everything is aligned properly. And then I'm going to let go. And then we need another one down here, right click, hit paste, and again click and drag. Right about there is good. So now I can change this to where, and I can change this to cost. And then you would just edit these subtext to include the address here and then your ticket fee to attend the event. If it's a free event, then all you need to do is just put this is a free event. If you want to include any sort of extra notes below, like on the original flyer, we have, she wanted to include the fact that you can bring your lunch and that there will be door prizes and dessert available. So any sort of benefit or incentive to them attending, you might want to include a little note there. And again, I just got these icons from a royalty-free site called flaticon.com, and I inserted the image, and for this I inserted the text here. So for this area over here in that black box that we have, we want to include RSVP information. So that's why there's a big black box there. It's the most important piece of information they need to know. What do I need to do to let you know that I'm attending, to RSVP? So I'm gonna click on insert. Again, you want to click on the text box and click and drag this and give them those instructions. So, we need to make this white. So I'm going to click on this. RSVP by, maybe you have a date, or if you want to say RSVP to and then a name. So I'm going to put my email address here. We'll put a date, and then I'm going to click and drag this text box, make it center, make this part bold, and we can change the color of these separate pieces of information that we want to stand out, right? So the date is important. I'm going to go here and choose color. Maybe this one is good. And again, the email address, select here. We can either make it the same color or just choose an entirely different color. And if you're sending this out as a digital flyer, you can actually make this email address clickable. So when someone clicks, it opens up an email to RSVP. So to do that, you just need to right click, select hyperlink, and then you would just go mail to : and then your email address. And then hit OK. So it's going to hyperlink it, and you may need to change the color back. So you can see here, it's now clickable. And what do you want to do with the bottom? It's totally up to you. For the flyer here, we had an opportunity to include who the event is sponsored by, and then some certifications or logos. If that's not applicable to you, then you could do maybe presented by or hosted by and have the names there. You could also just have hosted by or presented by along with the logos of companies. Or if you don't want to do that at all, you can just extend this box all the way down and just have it end with the RSVP piece. So going back to our original flyer here, all you would need to do to fill this piece up is again, do the insert text box, insert image. Text box for the presented by piece, maybe you want some text in here as well, or if you have logos, you go insert pictures and find those images on your desktop. And from there, all you need to do is just adjustments. So you can see here, there's a lot of extra space in this area. So what I can now do, after seeing all of the information that we have on the flyer, we can actually make this bigger. So I just clicked and dragged to select all of the elements. And I'm going to come back to home and then hit the increase font size button. So we can make that bigger. And then I'm just gonna adjust it from here. So we have more room to work with. And once you're all done, you're happy with the design, the last thing is to save it. And you can save it as an image file like a JPEG or PNG. And you can also save it as a PDF. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. You actually need to save it twice. So you need to save the PowerPoint file because that's your editable file. You can go anywhere, browse, create the file name demo, and then leave it as PowerPoint presentation. Hit save. That's going to save the editable file. And then the next thing you want to do is go back to File, Save As. Again, choose the place on your desktop, and then we're going to change the Save As type over here, and you can choose whatever format you like, PDF, JPEG, PNG. If you're using this on social media, then you'll want to save it as a JPEG or PNG. If you're sending it out as an email blast with an attachment, you may want to do a PDF. So I'm going to select this one, And then, oh, I realized you can't see this part. I'm just going to drag it up. So after selecting that, hit save. It's going to ask you which slides do you want to export, and you just need to say just this one because it's just the one slide. And then so the finished file right here. So go ahead and give that a try, and if you're running into any issues or you just want me to create the flyer for you or design any other print or digital marketing materials for your business, I'll leave my email address down in the description below. Feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to help. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.